My kind of people.
Here's today's God Call with Reverend Bill.
I'm going to set the intention for you to have a delightful surprise. I don't even need to know what the surprise is. I don't even need to know what's been going on for you, particularly in the time leading up to this wonderful surprise. But there's something waiting in the wings, ready to happen for you that is completely unexpected and absolutely delightful and brings more love and more joy and more good and more fun into your life in a way that really, really works for you. Bring on the good.
Well, I started out down a dirty road. I started out all alone, and the sun went down as I crossed that hill, and the town lit up, and the world got still. Learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. With the good old days may not return. The rocks might melt and the sea might burn. Learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. Well, some say life can beat you down, break your heart, and steal your crown. So I've started out for God knows where. I guess I'll know when I get there. I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. Fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. Learning to fly around the clouds. What goes up must come down.
That was awesome. I love church music when it's Tom Petty. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We are on Zoom again today, having a thrill-packed Sunday celebration and all sorts of good stuff going on. You know the usual rules. Please leave your microphone muted except when you're going to be sharing or talking, or if you're going to be joining in a gleeful cacophony, which is what we're going to start with now. So go ahead and unmute your microphone so that you can repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to new possibilities.
I open myself to new possibilities.
I look beyond my comfort zone.
I look beyond my comfort zone.
I know love is right here, right now.
I know love is right here, right now.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. So it is.
Go ahead and you can exercise your mute button one more time. I will be leaving partway through the celebration. I'm actually going to the airport so I can go to the Affiliated New Thought Network annual conference, which is the first one in 2 years for reasons that you all understand. And so it's love unfolding. And there'll be some more details about how you guys can participate in that as well. So I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is Avi Wisnia, and our master of ceremonies is the other bald guy in the burgundy top, Breen Rourke, RSCP.
RSCP, find out what it means to me. Yeah, every now and then I can break out that joke, but not every time. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature and empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you into our Zoom this morning, wherever you're going next, we've been expecting you. We love you and welcome. Now, we believe that there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us. And then we each use that very same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Or as we like to say around here, our new life begins with a new thought. Take a moment now, if you could, and silence any unnecessary electronic devices like your cell phone, so it doesn't go off in service and their minds shut off. Our practitioner of the day today is Jo Catanzaro, RSCP, and she will be leading us in our opening prayer. Take it away, Jo.
Good morning, everyone. Take a breath, settle in. Remember the truth of who we really are. We are perfect, whole, and complete. We are extensions of that one universal power and presence, dwelled by its same creative power, by that spirit, by the intelligence, the love, the light that the one is. Its own divine substance is our substance. We're made from it. We're made from it, and we share in that creative power to work in our own lives, because we're all spirit, connected with each other, connected with the one. That universal power, which we are extensions, unique individual extensions of, brings light and love and wisdom, peace, harmony into manifestation, into our lives. When we're open to it, we have that same ability. So we've chosen today to come together and celebrate this, to celebrate that spirit, to celebrate the spirit within each one of us, to join them, to bring them together, to share all of our light, all of our love, all of our ability. To create something bigger and better when we do it together. So I know this gathering, this community, brings more love and light, joy, peace, harmony, whatever good each one of us desires, intends. I know that we bring it into form today. Share it between ourselves, share it with everyone else in our lives. So I'm grateful for all of the good that we create. I'm grateful for each one here, for the sharing that goes on between us. And with gratitude for all this good, for everyone here, for everything we bring, I release my word to the law. It does what it always does. It says yes, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Jo. So Joe had us lead us in a prayer, and the reason we pray is because it works. It's a practical prayer, bringing a new result or manifestation into our lives. So now's the time we'd like to open up to the community and ask you folks to share with us your prayer work story. How is prayer working in your life? So you can raise your hand in your camera or click the raise hand reaction button on Zoom. I got my two 24-inch monitors. I can see everybody. And I saw Annie with her hand up. I just want to say, Annie, your hair looks great. And this morning when I first joined, the screen popped up and I was looking who was there when we had rehearsal. I'm like, oh, who's that cute blonde? And it's Annie.
Well, thank you, Breen. That brought more joy to my morning. So I did an affirmation this week in class, in the class that I'm taking with Bill. And it was about health and healing and feeling, you know, increasing mobility after I got hurt in August. And I just kind of had plateaued. Like I was in pain all the time. It wasn't like excruciating, but it was discomfort. And I'm like, I know I can be whole and complete in my body again. And in the past, I had struggled with like prayers about health and wellness. I was really happy that I finally was able to like stretch my belief system on this. And this week I've been doing so much better. Like I'm doing my physical therapy exercises. I feel so much more limber, and the pain is, you know, only there probably 45% of the time instead of all the time. So that's huge, huge. I'm so grateful. I'm glad I'm taking the class. I'm glad I was open to more good. And thank you for the support, Bill, and the prayer work. I appreciate it.
That's beautiful. Thanks, Annie. Thank you. Who else? Prayer work story? I've got one, and here it is. This is a Garmin Forerunner 910 XT. And it's a multi-sport watch. I use it for running, swimming, cycling. It's gotten me through a lot of training, a lot of races. I love it. It was state of the art a long time ago, and they don't go retail anymore. And yesterday I went for a bike ride, and instead of riding from my house, I drove to the Schuylkill River Trail and did a nice ride. Went all the way up to Valley Forge from Philadelphia, came back. I put my Garmin on the bed cover while I hooked my bike onto the back of the truck, and I said, "Don't forget your Garmin." And I had my take off my bike shoes, put on my sneakers, and yada yada yada. Get into the truck, drive home. No Garmin. I'd left it on the back of the truck, and it fell off somewhere between Shawmont and Wynwood. And I went back, tried to find it, couldn't find it. I was distraught. And I looked on eBay, I looked on Amazon, I looked on Facebook Marketplace. And at 9 o'clock this morning, I went and bought one, a used one, for $50. So that is a prayer work story, that I've got my Garmin XT. One day, I only missed one workout that I can't upload to Garmin and to Strava. So it's as if it never happened. But I definitely said a prayer about replacing my beloved Garmin 910 XT. Yay, technology. All right, anybody else? Sandy.
So I learned a lesson about practical prayer this week. I am house sitting and dog sitting. It's a puppy. I'm not a dog person. And almost every time we took a walk, he wanted to chase a squirrel and would dart off. And every time he did that, I would say, "You are a pain in my ass." And this happened repeatedly until I now have a pain in my upper butt. And it reminded me of how powerful my word is. So if I could only remember to use it for good, that would be a wonderful thing. Sorry, probably not very inspiring.
It's a great
No,
lesson in affirmation and how it works in our lives.
that's metaphysics.
It is, whether we like it or not. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Prayer works. All right, and now we've got Sandy with the announcement.
Whoops. This harvest of information can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. They're inspiring and fun and are less than 15 minutes. Everyone is welcome. Episode 20 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is New Thought Confetti. Listen on the website or subscribe on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Stitcher. Reverend Bill will be at the affiliated New Thought Network conference this week. You can register to attend the week-long program remotely via Zoom or Zoom in to watch Reverend Bill receive his Doctor of Divinity in the Emerson Institute graduation on Thursday at 5 p.m. Support our social media. Follow New Thought Philly on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and join the Philly Spiritual Adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of Eight Intention Circle meets Mondays at 7 p.m. You can contact me. I put my information in the chat for information. The Conscious Creativity Core meets the third Tuesday of every month. Contact Chris for information. And the Women's Circle meets the fourth Thursday at 7 p.m. That's this Thursday. And you can contact Joe or myself for information. You can now use Venmo and the Cash App to donate to New Thought Philly or pay for books, classes, and services. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebration work. There's a short technical rehearsal before the celebration on Sunday. To join the team, contact Carla Ann. Next Sunday will be virtual on Zoom and YouTube. It's a fifth Sunday healing celebration with a powerful interactive healing prayer for everyone present. Bring a candle. Live original music by Adam Webb. If there's a challenging situation in your life that could use some newness, make an appointment with Reverend Bill or a practitioner for a professional prayer session. After the celebration, Joe will be available for a quick Miracle in a Minute prayer at no charge. And we'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk among ourselves after the celebration. That's it.
Thank you, Sandy. Yay. Now is the time where we like to welcome new folks. If you're with us for the first time, I'm not sure, looking around, iPad Irene, I may have seen you, but if are you here for the first time, you can click the reaction button or not. Just know that we're glad that you're here. All right, so we're going to bless everybody. So let's rub our hands together. Look around the Zoom at everybody and send out love. You are a bright light of divine love. Thank you for sharing your light with us. Welcome. When we're in person, we're going to have special gifts for second timers or third timers or first timers. It's a really cool keychain and flashlight. I got a box of them down in my dining room, which pretty soon is going to go back into the attic because I don't know when we're going to meet in person again. But Jane has started to Marie Kondo the house, so they're in the way. Oh, nice. When we are in person, this is the time where we like to walk around the room greeting each other. It's a lot of people hugging or fist bumping or waving like this from afar if they're whatever their close contact preferences happen to be in this new. But right now we can just put it on gallery view, look around the Zoom at all the wonderful people, and Avi's got another song for us.
and it is a pleasure to be with you in community today, virtually and spiritually. Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. I've spent a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes now, and I've just begun under a purple sun. There are many reasons we are what we become. I'm going through changes, ripping up pages. I'm going through changes now. I knew it once, but I forgot. I'm going through changes now. We want everything but what we got. I'm going through changes now. Maybe it's too soon. Under a purple moon, but I'd ride off with you in a big balloon. I'm going through pages, rattling cages. I'm going through changes now. Things could be different, but I don't know how. I'm going through pages now. I'm going through changes, through all of this strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Thank you, Avi. Awesome. Flames. We got the Flames of Faith brought to us by Annie.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Thank you, Sandy. Annie. Sorry. Thank you too, Sandy. Now we have a reading brought to us by Carlan.
Good morning, everyone. Every person's privilege is to stand on tiptoe and take a look over the edge. What is the edge? A place where fear lurks and no one dares to get too close. Many a dream has taken us up to the edge, and with quaking knees to look over the immense distance between what could be and what is reality. Most people end it right there and refuse to be scared any longer. Change is here. We can fall over the edge, or we can believe in something greater than the tangible. Let go of the weak and impossible and stand in the light that never goes out. Let him be just and deal kindly with my people. That's from a Duwamish chief in Seattle, and so it is.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this breeze is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a washed out soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there are some with no home and not a nickel to loan. Who am I to be blind, pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Better make that change, yeah. Na 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 na.
Thank you, Avi. Oh, beautiful. So there's a guy who walks out into the street in front of a car, and the car hits him and knocks him down. He's lying in the street. And the driver jumps out of the car. Oh my God, he can't believe that he's hit this guy. So it's cold. So he takes off his coat. He rolls up his coat. He cushions the guy's head. He covers him up. He says to the guy, "Are you comfortable?" The guy says, "I make a nice living." And the title of the talk today is Comfort Zone. And it's more specifically outside the comfort zone. And your comfort zone, our comfort zone, for all of us, the comfort zone is whatever we describe it to be. And for everybody, our comfort zone is comfortable, or at least it seems like it's comfortable. And you can define it and describe your own comfort zone in whatever way you want to, because it's your comfort zone. It is possible to look at other people who are going through their lives, presumably in their own comfort zone, and think that they could really be accomplishing a whole lot more and be judgmental about what they're doing with their life. Or you can be impressed because what they're doing would be tremendously uncomfortable for you. And you can either judge them for that, or you can envy them for that. But the whole thing about a comfort zone is when we're inside of our comfort zone, that is the familiar. And that's okay. That's wonderful. And there's some advantages to going outside the comfort zone. We had a house plant 30 something years ago when Dean and I first got together, and just in the row house in Philadelphia, and it was maybe 4 feet tall. It's an umbrella tree. And we moved to Florida and brought the plant with us. And it got a little bigger because it's kind of a native to Florida. And so we put it into a bigger pot, and it got a little bigger. And then we put it outside on the patio. And the townhouse that we were living in at that point had a concrete patio, and then next to it was AstroTurf. So there was no green, there was no grass in the back. And this plant sat there, and it was getting all of the Florida sun and all of the Florida rain, and it seemed to be doing just fine. And then suddenly it grew tremendously. I mean, it shot up, and it was like 12 feet tall. It was up to the second floor windows. And what had happened was it got completely root bound. It couldn't grow anymore in the pot that it was in. And it dropped a root over the side of the pot, which made its way down and between the concrete and the AstroTurf. And the root got into the soil, and it took off. The plant got outside of its comfort zone. Its comfort zone was the pot. It had been in the pot for all of that time, and that was just fine. And then boom. And sometime later, we bought a house. And so we took the plant with us. There was no room to put it inside the house anymore. It was Florida. So we planted it in the area that had a circular driveway outside the front door. So between the house and the sidewalk, there's this semicircular area. So we planted it in there. And by the time we moved, it had taken over that semicircular area. And it was definitely in its comfort zone, in a brand new comfort zone. I went back 10 years later and I looked at the house, and it was huge. I mean, you couldn't see the house because of this plant. So there's possibilities outside of the comfort zone. I think we took a cutting of the same plant when we moved to Tampa, and it was a stick. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't in a pot. It was just there. And we put it in some water, and it sprouted again. And we got a fourth take out of the same plant. Because life is such that it's just looking for the opportunity to express, to grow. And the bad news about our comfort zone is that our comfort zone is inside of our growth zone. Here's the chart. I'm not going to do graphics on screen. The circle in the middle is our comfort zone. Well, you can get nice and close that you can see what that is. Outside of your comfort zone is your growth zone. Outside of your growth zone is the death zone. Now, some people think of it as the danger zone. Other people think of it as the death zone. I couldn't possibly do that. That would be sheer destruction for me. And that's all a part of our belief system. Because if we believe that it's impossible, if we believe that it's going to kill us, then we're right, and it's going to. And if you do an affirmation for something to be a pain in the butt, then make an appointment with a chiropractor or get some preparation H, because there's a pain in the butt that's on its way. You know, maybe you need some of that Asper cream or something to numb the pain. Because the law is always saying yes. The law is always saying yes. It's always responding. And when we identify that we're willing to step outside of our comfort zone, the law gives us the opportunity to grow. And sometimes the growth happens in wonderful, joyous, happy, peaceful ways. And sometimes that's really uplifting and just huge amounts of fun. And sometimes it's in exciting ways. And sometimes it's in downright terrifying ways. Now, sometimes we can choose. We can definitely set the intention for the experience that we want to have. And basically ask for the yes that we're looking for. So I spent, as you know, some time scuba diving, and I love scuba diving and snorkeling. It's just show of hands. Anybody been snorkeling before? Yeah. And so when you're snorkeling, you float around on the surface of the water, you put the snorkel on, you're looking down, seeing all the nice stuff. And there's the possibility that you can take a deep breath, hold your breath, and dive down under and see stuff that's deeper down. So I've been snorkeling on the coral reef and, diving down 15, 20, 30 feet to see the coral there. And that's a little bit more of a technique than is involved when you're just swimming along on the surface and breathing through the snorkel. And people who are floating along at the surface, seeing the folks diving down deeply, might think I can't do that. That's outside of my comfort zone. I couldn't possibly do that. And then the people who dive down to 30 feet, like me, think that going deeper than that is really scary because that's outside of our comfort zone. So my buddy Dan was into something called free diving. And free diving is basically snorkeling to deep levels and deep depths. On scuba diving, with a big tank on my back, the deepest that I've ever dived was 205 feet. And most people think, no, it's 206. Most people think that that is a death zone. Couldn't possibly do that. Even the people who are into sport diving think that the deepest you should go is about 130 feet. And they have all sorts of logic and reasons why that's the case. So anyway, I, in Cozumel, was diving down to 206 feet. And it was great. It was an awesome dive. I was definitely extended my comfort zone because I was really comfortable. I was in the groove when I was doing that. It felt awesome. There are other times I've gone not that deep and it seemed scary because there was other things that were going on. Anyway, my friend Dan, who was a free diver, for a short while, he held the record, the US record for free diving, because he snorkeled to 216 feet. That's 10 feet deeper than I would go on scuba. For me, that's so far past the danger zone and the death zone. That's like the no-go zone. Can't do it. And the reason that he did that was because he could. He had the opportunity to extend himself and do something that he hadn't done before. And in fact, at that point, nobody had done before. And this isn't the kind where, I don't know if you've seen it, some of them, they have a weight that goes down on a cord, and they just grab the weight and let it drag them down. He actually did it by kicking down with his fins. So that's the sort of free diving that he was doing. I couldn't do that. And I wouldn't want to do that. And if I found myself having to do that, that would be life-threatening for me. But for him, it was awesome because he had the expectation that he could. And the reason that we know that he got to 206 feet is because in order for it to be a record, somebody has to verify it. So his friend Don took him out on the boat and they dropped the anchor line where it was deeper than 216 feet, probably 300 feet at that place. And his friend Don put on his scuba gear and swam down the rope so that he could see Dan when he showed up at 216 feet. Now that's an expectation. If there were no expectation that that was inside of my growth zone, I would never send Don down to that depth. But this was the partnership that they had as they were expanding past what had been the comfort zone well into the growth zone. So does all this mean you need to learn to scuba dive? No, you don't. What this is a reminder is that whatever it is that you're doing, you can look at the way it's been. Sometimes you say up until now, the way that your life has been up until now, and ask, is this comfortable pattern that I've been on, or at least this familiar pattern that I've been involved in, what I want to continue doing? And that's where the growth comes in, because we can make an assumption that what we have to do is stay in our comfort zone, and we'll never have the opportunity to grow or to change or to experience something. Somebody who's afraid of getting their heart broken is never going to risk love. Somebody who is afraid of being laughed at is not going to dance. There are things that I do very poorly. And there are some things that I do very poorly that I was afraid to do previously. I would just avoid them because I thought I couldn't do them well, so I'm not going to bother doing them. I was a self-described perfectionist. And that's basically, for perfectionism, is if you can't be the best in the world at it, master it, then don't try it at all. I am a reasonably skilled rock climber, which I had never done because when I was in middle school, I was a fat kid and they had those ropes that you got to climb up in the gym. This was back in the good old days, and I could never do that. So I gave up, and I gave up trying because it was all about struggling for me. And then I realized I could try rock climbing. I could see if there's something different to do. And so I tried. I went to the climbing gym and it was a good time. I had a good time and I learned some skills and some techniques and things like that. I said, yeah, this is a good workout. I can't ever see myself climbing outdoors, but this is fun. And the people in the gym were talking about the special parts about climbing outdoors and why it's fun and all the gear that you have to buy and all the rest of that. And well, of course, I have lots of gear in my basement and spent a fair amount of time climbing outdoors, taking my family on vacations so I could go climbing in New Hampshire and in California. And when I was traveling on business, remember that was the thing back in the old days? When I was traveling on business, I'd sometimes stretch the trip out by an extra day so that I could go to one of the really cool climbing areas near the places where I worked, in Smith Rock in Oregon and Vancouver. I went for a trade show in Vancouver and went and climbed in Squamish. And Boulder, Colorado has one of the best climbing areas I've ever been to. And this is something that I never would have done because it was outside of my comfort zone. So I stepped into the growth zone. And what happened was my comfort zone got bigger. And it got bigger again because I thought I could only climb in the gym, and it turns out I could climb outdoors. And then I thought I can only climb outdoors under these circumstances or in Pennsylvania. And it turns out that I could do something else. You can do that too. Do you want to go rock climbing? No, don't. You want to try baking something because you're no good at baking and you always admire people who can bake? Bake something. Set the intention to burn it less than you did last time. You like to paint? Paint. If you can't figure out what the painting is, just tell somebody it's an abstract. I mean, you don't need to be the best in the world at it. You just need to give it a try. You know where your comfort zone is. You have been living in it for your entire life. You also know where the edge of your comfort zone is because it seems scary. It seems like it's a danger zone. Danger zone is your growth zone. And it's not like you have to go out there and you have to do any of these things. But what you can do is be aware that they're out there and that your decision to stay in your comfort zone is just exactly that. It is a choice. And you get to make that choice. And you make that choice all the time. You do it consciously, you do it unconsciously. So my recommendation, my invitation, my plea is that you find something that is a little bit intriguing, a little bit scary, a little bit unpredictable, a little bit outside of your normal pattern, and give it a shot. Because that infinite creative power that creates everything is creating this next moment of your life, and it is very happy to create this moment as something joyous and brand new, outside of your previous comfort zone. And oh, by the way, if you stay inside of your comfort zone, it eventually starts to seem smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, because it's comfortable, but it becomes well-worn. And sometimes well-worn becomes a rut. And we don't want to do that. So that is your opportunity. It is the chance to pivot, to turn away from whatever it was that you've been doing, whether it's been serving you well or not, whether you'd like that to continue or not, just to recognize and acknowledge it. Is there room for something different? Is there room for something more? If this got better, 10% better, just a little tiny bit better, what would it be? Step into it and give it a try. I'm going to make the usual safety recommendations that you don't do something completely nuts like, well, I've always wanted to go skydiving, but I can't afford a parachute, so I'm just going to jump out of an airplane without one. No, that's probably not a good idea. Same thing, perhaps there's some study, some training, some support that you can invite. For example, when I go rock climbing, I hire a guide because they know the rocks that we're climbing on and they know how to climb properly. And they're being paid very specifically to catch me on the end of a rope if I slip. So it changes the formula for me just randomly climbing around on rocks that maybe nobody has ever climbed successfully. So there are ways that you can do that and use your discernment, use your insight, use your wisdom, use the resources that are available. My gosh, if you want to do something, just Google it. That makes it so much easier than it was 30 years ago. And take a step and see how that feels. And take another step and see how that feels. And take another step. And then look over your shoulder and see where your comfort zone used to be and see how it feels to have gone that far into your growth zone. Wonderful experiences, wonderful opportunities. They are at hand. I am today stepping out of my comfort zone. It's been very comfortable staying home, not traveling, not interacting with other people indoors for the last 20 months. And today I'm going to get on an airplane, which some of you say, oh, that's scary. And Jesus says, I've been on an airplane today, or maybe yesterday, to go to a conference and spend a week with 60 people and step outside of my comfort zone and invite something new and wonderful in. So whatever it is to you, I encourage you, I invite you, I welcome you. Keep your eye on the e-newsletter because we will be sending around the link to the graduation ceremony for the Emerson Institute. And I am also hosting the talent show, the Anton Talent Show. That's the amateur talent show, where it's going to have some pretty fun talent. It's going to be on Thursday evening, 9 p.m. our time. It's free, and you are welcome to join in on that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Never done one virtually before, but it'll be hybrid with some folks in the room and perhaps some people remote. And if you're interested in attending the whole conference, usually you have to fly to Kansas City and then drive out to Unity Village and stay there for a week in the hotel. Plus pay the exorbitant registration fee, but it's $149. You can watch the whole thing online. The info is on the New Thought Philly website. So find your comfort zone, check the rearview mirror, see where it used to be, and enjoy yourself because you deserve it. So it is.
This song is about putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and also very seasonally appropriate. It's called Catching Leaves. I spent the afternoon trying to catch leaves before they could fall to the ground. Couldn't predict where they'd go in the breeze. Got tired of chasing them down. Running in circles for lightning to strike, begging the mailman to come, tempting you to get that look in your eye. When should I give up? It's the way that the world turns without reason why. The way that the world turns, there's no need to try. The way that the world turns from June to July, the way that the world turns, there's no reason why. I spent the afternoon trying to catch leaves. Sat on a bench and one fell on my knee.
Thank you, Avi. That's beautiful. And thank you, Reverend Bill. I'm going to do a little meditation now. So think about that comfort zone and the edge and looking over it, and consider what growth might be available to us. So start by getting comfortable in your chair. Sit up straight if you want to. Get your feet flat on the floor. Just get comfortable. And we'll start by taking some slow, deep breaths. Take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And release. Feel your shoulders relax. One more deep breath. See if we get that relaxation to go a little bit further down our spine. Deep breath in. Hold it. And release. One more deep breath. Deep breath in, hold it. And release. Let that relaxation just flow from all the way down your neck, your spine, your hips, down to your feet. Just continue that breathing. Feel the breath go all the way in and the relaxation go all the way down. Think about that feeling of when the plant is pot bound. It's tight. Sometimes it's cozy, but it gets a little tight. Think about how you can reach out. That's your comfort zone. But how would you reach out? What could you do? Imagine what you could do if you had more space to expand. You could stand in the light that never goes out. as you focus on your breath, look out over the edge. Release the fear, release the limitations, and open up to the growth. Breathe in that space, that growth, and breathe out, being pot bound. Just focus on your breath and as we go into the quiet.
I stand in the perpetual shining light, the bright light of the infinite. I release that which has me bound. I am open to unlimited possibility. For everything, everywhere, is that unlimited field of potentiality. That omnipresent source and resource. God, Spirit, the divine, that provides everything, everywhere for my growth. I trust. I step to the edge. I step out in that trust, in that perpetual light, and open myself to the full support of the universe for my growth and expansion. My good continues to expand, for I am one with that infinite. We are each individual expressions of that infinite and have that universe of potentiality available to us right now. So know that each person here opens themselves to that next new, that growth, that step outside the box, outside the comfort zone, into the growth zone. It may be baking something. It may be diving deep. It may be dipping our toes into the pool. Whatever that growth is, whatever that step is for us, the universe supports us fully. And so I am so grateful to know that good. Grateful to know that truth, that universal support is here now for everyone, for each of us now and always. So with gratitude and joy and an assurance that my good is at hand, I release this word into that creative law, that infinite field that always says yes and yes and yes. And I know that good is at hand. I let it be, and so it is. I invite you to take another nice deep breath in. Exhale. Bring your attention back to your body. Bring some movement. Maybe wiggle your fingers or toes and roll your neck. Allow your eyes to gently open. Bring your awareness back to your place in your room and all of us in the Zoom. And Avi's got another song for us.
The water is wide, I can't get over. Neither have I the wings to fly. Give me a boat that carries two. We both shall row, my friend and I, as I look out across the sea, a bright horizon beckons me, and I am called to do my best and be the most that I can be. The water is wide, I can't get over. Neither have I the wings to fly. Give me a boat that carries two. We both shall row, my friend and I. Give me a boat that carries two. We both shall row, my friend and I.
Thank you, Avi. That was beautiful. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone. What a wonderful celebration. So we've planted some seeds. Maybe we've stepped to the edge of our comfort zone and looked over. And now is the time that we'd like to open up to the community, what we call the wisdom share. If anyone's got something they'd like to share, something that's come up, Carla's ready to go.
Hi, I'm gonna try and say this quickly. It's funny. It's like God whispers my ear. And you know, like 20 years ago, I fell in love with spinning. And one of my teachers, like, you know, in a gym, one of my instructors is like, you should ride outside. You'd love it. I was like, oh no, I spend these classes with my eyes closed. I would get killed on the road. and for about a year after that, anytime I took his class, in the middle of it, while he was doing all the commands, he'd be like, open your eyes. And he wouldn't say, Carla, open your eyes. He'd just say, open your eyes. And I would. And then I bought myself a bike in like 2005 for my birthday, a used bike. And I fell in love with it almost immediately outside. And then I just started riding, and I got a better bike, and I did like the MS 150 like 4 years. And this is actually charity bike riding season. And this year I haven't been riding, like I should be riding, you know, about 110 miles a week right now. And I'm nowhere, I'm happy when I get 25 miles a week. But you know, it's funny, my comfort zone in the morning, I wake up about 10 minutes after I feel like I should wake up. And I have this thing about going to bed, and I've done intentions about it. But you know, if I went to bed at a better time, I might be able to get up 30 minutes earlier, and maybe I could go for a quick bike ride, which just makes me so happy, you know? And so it's funny, you think about comfort zones, because me going to bed at a better time would just help me achieve so many other things that I want, not just the biking. So I hope that made sense, but it's like God's whispering in my ear through all of you. And Avi, the music has been beautiful, especially that song about the leaves falling and chasing them. Oh, so fabulous. It tickled my soul. So thank you.
Thank you, Carla Ann. So I went for a ride yesterday, I was mentioning earlier, and I was going to do 20 miles out and back on the Schuylkill River Trail. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do 25. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to ride a marathon. So I rode 26.2 miles. And the last few coming back were tough, but it was fun. Who else?
Oh, nice.
Go ahead.
Well, this was so deep for me. It was so powerful and important. And Avi, your music just rounded it out, went right into my heart. But I am turning 74 in December on my birthday. And I remember when I turned 72, and I started feeling like my life just felt small, like too small. And there's just been this nagging feeling like there's something. It's like I've been there, done that with the life that I've created. And it's been beautiful up till now, but it's starting to feel like I can hardly breathe in it. And today, this service just really brought me to that place of recognizing if I don't continue to step out of my comfort zone, there's really no reason to be here because I have already done that. So thank you so much to Bill and to being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. It's funny, I was thinking something very similar. You know, the comfort zone, that box gets bigger and bigger and bigger the longer we're at this. And it's like, oh boy, what's next? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Tina.
So I'm in the car on the way to the airport, and I just wanted to say thank you to Avi and to tell everyone that he has a new record that just came out, and he's such a magical artist. I hope everybody supports him. And this was, boy, getting out of your comfort zone, man. It's definitely a big one for me. So love everybody and see you soon.
Thanks. Fly safe, Bill. Beautiful. Thank you all. It's been a wonderful celebration. All right. Sandy has our offering affirmation.
Our community, excuse me, our community is supported by your contributions. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We're grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donation button on the website to make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on our screen, and let's say it together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am the center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life.
Bless my
I
gift.
bless my gift.
I share my gift with
gratitude and joy.
I know
that
as
I give, I do receive. And so it is.
So it is.
All right, that's you, Avi.
Thank you, everyone. And once again, it is such a pleasure to be with you this morning and again with your community. And I appreciate all of your words and the ability to share music with you. It's one of the ways that I know how to connect most with other human beings. So to know that we've made a connection this morning is really meaningful to me. And so we're going to conclude with a song of mine that if you've seen me before, hopefully you're familiar with enough to sing along even over the Zoom. And it's a wonderful way to be in community with each other and hopefully to give each of us some strength as we go out into the world and hopefully beyond our comfort zones, wherever that may lead us. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. A storm's about to appear and not a thing will be dry. But the skies, they always clear. It's just a matter of time. Here we go. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. We're stuck with nowhere to go. It's quite a disheartening thing, but instead of getting low, let's get together and sing. Let's sing. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Said this dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. I see you feeling blue. Life's not how you want it to be. So until the sun shines through, you can sing along with me. Last time. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Yeah, this dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun.
Yay. Thank you, Avi. That was wonderful. Woohoo. Okay, so virtually take the hand of the person next to you, across from you, adjacent to you, and repeat after me. I come to the edge of my comfort zone.
I come to the edge of my
Edge of
comfort.
my comfort zone.
I step out.
I step
I
out.
step-
The universe supports me,
The universe supports me,
and I'm open to my good.
and I'm open to my good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Woo!
Yay. Woohoo.
That was lovely. Woo!
Fantastic. Yay.